and welcome to California Bountiful. I'm your host, Aubrey Aquino, and as you can see, I'm standing along the California coast in gorgeous Half Moon Bay, California. We're going to start this episode with a taste of some handmade California cheese crafted by the one and only San Diego CheeseSmith. It's a one-man operation. The owner of San Diego's iconic brewery, AleSmith Brewing Company, CEO Peter Zine, is also the one big cheese behind CheeseSmith Artisan Creamery. His various cheese offerings can be taken to go or enjoyed on-site in his brewery's tasting room, all of it handmade, weighed, hand-packed, and labeled with care by Peter himself. Let's see if I can get it right first. And I got in on the operation before sitting down for a one-on-one cheese and beer pairing.
Curds. You eat them with your fingers, they're squeaky.
All right.
Because they're so fresh, when you bite through it, you might get this sensation of a squeak. And then hopefully you get there's
I got the squeak.
Yeah. There's a lot of dill pickle in here, and dill. Salty.
You can taste the freshness in here. That's good.
Thank you. I'm glad you like it.
And you were saying this kind of came about because you're thinking like, what do you like with the cheeseburger?
Right, like think about things that you like with cheese. And I was thinking, oh, there's always pickles on burgers and cheese, so why not try it? So,
all right.
Truth be told, I never made them before, so you're tasting my first batch of them. So, I just had a good feeling about it.
That was good.
So we can dig into something. I'm curious about the porcini mushroom one, so we're gonna give this a little taste first off.
Okay. So how long has this been in the making?
I made this I believe about 5 months ago. And it's been patiently aging at cellar temperature, which is about 50 degrees. And if you want to take a cracker,
okay,
I'll do the same. And so the way chowdas are made in a lot of the cheeses of that region are, they're low in acid, and the way that goes about is that at a certain part in the process, they drain off the whey. So you have curds floating in whey, and you're draining the whey out of the curds. At a certain point in the process, you drain just about a third of the tank of the whey, get rid of it, and replace it with water. So what that does is it removes the whey, which has the lactose sugar, and I don't want to geek out on you too much, but the lactose sugar from the milk is eaten by the bacteria cultures, and it makes acid, lactic acid or acetic acid, and that's measured in a pH drop. So really acidic cheeses have really low pHs, but these cheeses like chowdas tend to have higher pHs, not that far from the original milk, because a lot of the food from the bacteria was let out of the tank, and then they replaced it with water. So hopefully if my cheese professor is watching, they're going, oh, he learned something.
Okay, do you want to try it first?
Yeah, well, no,
we'll go together?
Let's go ahead and just give it a try.
Okay.
I might just try it like that. Get a little bit of that mushroom.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a unique combination of the dairy flavors. But it's, I guess the thing you don't want in most cheeses is bitterness. And so whenever I taste one of my new cheeses and it's not bitter, I'm like, good, that worked out well.
I can taste the mushroom in it.
Yeah.
I think it's good. It's not,
cool.
It's not too shocking, but it's in there.
Right, yeah. And which porcini tends to be umami flavored, which is like broth or meaty. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to go too much in that direction. But yeah, so we can keep moving through. Now the cheddar was actually made as part of my wife's charity, Anvil of Hope. I auction off a cheese making day every year. And I had a helper make this with me, and she took most of it. I have one little wheel left, but it came out really nice. And so traditional cheddar, it has a little annatto in it. You know, you may have wondered why some cheeses are orange and others aren't. So there's no such thing as orange cheese. It's an addition called annatto. It's a vegetable dye.
Oh.
That's all the cheese you see at the supermarket. So it was a way for the English to distinguish their cheese from other cheeses for tax purposes.
Oh.
So it has a high degree of meltability, and it's made in a process where you're trying to dry it out a lot. So pretty much basic cheddar, but the longer it ages, the sharper it gets. So we're looking at almost a year. So I'd call this about medium sharpness.
That's good too.
Cool.
So far, so good.
Right on. You want to try it with a beer? See what you think?
Okay, which one do you think I should try? Straight ahead, cold pressed juice with a desert hot springs spin. And next, more cheese, this time paired with local brews. We'll be right back. California Bountiful is brought to you by the California Farm Bureau.
Home is where you start the day. Out the door, you're on your way. All the places you wanna go. Maybe you should take it slow. There's so much to care for in your life. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Golden Sky Country Music Festival coming to Sacramento, October 14th and 15th with Eric Church.
All you gotta do is put a drink in my hand.
John Party. Maren Morris. Parker McCullum. And Jordan Davis, Lady Wilson, Winona Judd, and more. Golden Sky Country Music Festival at Discovery Park in downtown Sacramento. Passes starting at $10 down at GoldenSkyFestival.com.
Downtown Sacramento's Bodega Days Market is back.
Everyone is stoked on cherries, so it's really fun to be out here with the hot commodity.
Enjoy the weekly market.
There's always so many wonderful vendors. It changes every week. So every week we see something new, which is just amazing.
And I love the cherries at this place specifically. Like, I'm living for it.
And stroll through the park at Cesar Chavez Plaza.
Run fast, come quick. The fruit is so good, and it is all in season.
Bodega Days at Cesar Chavez Plaza in downtown Sacramento every Thursday. All right, so we've gotten in on the behind-the-scenes action on making the cheese, so now it's time for a lesson on pairing it with beer. So far, so good.
Right on. You want to try it with a beer? See what you think?
Okay, which one do you think I should try?
For the cheddar, I mean, I would just go with our 394,
Okay.
Which is
this
guy,
one.
yeah.
Okay.
And
All right.
again, it has a little hop character to it, but it's not bitter.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Easy to drink.
It's pretty good.
It goes with it. Again, there's no right or wrong here. You can pair whatever you like with that. I was wondering maybe if you want to try this cheddar with just a little drop of honey on it. And I think, I mean, most people, I'm not sure if you've ever tried honey on your cheese, but it's quite nice.
No, I don't think I actually have.
Yeah, and so my bees generously gave this to me. It's their food, so you don't want to always take too much of it. But we harvested this last August out of my beehives, and it's...
So how much honey, or you show me how it's done.
Okay, well yeah, I just tend to just do a little squirt on top. That, and you can put as much or as little as you like. But it really counters the acidic nature of the cheese, and it just ends with such a nice sweet. Isn't that a nice pairing? Yeah. And so after you start doing it, you get kind of addicted. You want to put honey on all your cheese.
That gave a nice, like, between having the cheddar just by itself, when you add the honey, yeah, the flavor profile changes up.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Big complexity, and now it just blossoms like that. Yeah.
And then, again, you gotta do it with beer. Very good. Very good. All right.
Right on. So now for something completely different, a cheese made with beer in it. Okay, and this, I want you to try the nut brown ale with this one.
Okay.
So we're gonna go for a little shot of this guy.
And you're saying this was like a Havarti?
Yeah, and it has Oktoberfest, which is a malt forward beer that's very popular here during the month of September and October. And again, honey if you like, or some cracker with it.
Another cracker.
Yep. And it's definitely a different kind of thing going on with this. The beer is noticeable in a way not like a beer you drink. It's gone through a fermentation process with going into the cheese again.
Ooh, that's really
Interesting.
good.
Yeah.
I think I like your bees. I like their honey.
Yeah. And I've only been.
And so you were saying to try this one.
Yeah. Go ahead and grab the nut brown. And that's more malty, and I think that connects to the Oktoberfest closest of the beers we chose.
I don't think I'm a malty person.
Oh, you prefer the hoppy stuff?
I think I like the hoppy better.
Right on. Cool. Yeah, you know, I like them all, but people definitely have their preference. And out there in the marketplace, the IPA is king. The hoppy beers, big time. Yeah.
All right, and then our last one.
Yeah. So let's try the truffle Gouda, and this is made with the real truffles. I'll make sure to get some little black dots in there for you.
Okay.
And this has more age on it. I would definitely want to do honey on this because it does have the truffle has kind of added some bitter notes to it.
Okay.
And a little bit garlicky.
Oh, garlicky, huh?
Yeah. Which maybe means I put a little bit too much truffle, but hey, I want to give people their money's worth.
I like the honey.
Cool.
Mmm. Oh, I love that with the honey
Isn't that cool?
and the truffle. That is good.
I'm glad you like it. It's just fun to have the freedom to do what I want in that creamery and make what I want, and I think people will just like. I'm not tied to any distributor or anyone buying this other than customers that come to the brewery.
Oh, that's amazing. No, these were some great selections and really
Cool.
tasty. So what's next for CheeseSmith?
What's next for CheeseSmith? The big question. Well, it is a passion project, and I enjoy keeping it small. And I'm the only person, but you know, as I get a little older, and you know, I guess one day maybe I will hire someone and get some help. I definitely want to keep it going. It's just a lot of fun for me, and watching people respond positively and other professionals that I'm doing something right is kind of a good feeling.
Awesome. Well, thank you for taking us behind the scenes
My
and
pleasure.
sharing some of your cheese and doing the tasting with us.
Anytime you're in San Diego or anyone watching, come visit us at AleSmith. Plenty of beer, plenty of cheese.
Love it. Thank you.
Still to come, we check out the Good House for a juicy lesson. But first, we'll get rolling with a savory recipe using California prunes. You're watching California Bountiful.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
The California Farm Bureau has protected the diverse agricultural interests in the Golden State for over a century. As part of the California Farm Bureau, you'll add your voice to the combined strength of over 34,000 farmers, ranchers, and families through our state. That means more connections, more influence, and more opportunity to fight for the issues that impact your life. With your support behind us, California Farm Bureau's robust government affairs, federal policy and farm pack, and legal teams work tirelessly to advocate at all levels of government, protecting and promoting our shared way of life. Together, California Farm Bureau and our members are standing up for farmers, ranchers, and families throughout the Golden State every day, working to cultivate a bountiful future for all Californians.
Did you know all prunes are plums, but not all plums are prunes? And when it comes to California prunes, they are truly one of a kind. Check out this savory recipe from YouTube chef Jerry James Stone.
So Jerry, you are a YouTube chef. Tell
Yes.
me about some of the things that you like to create and cook, what you're known for.
Yeah, you know, I really focus on sustainability, food waste, and just using whole ingredients. I like simple, basic. I think if you have good food, good ingredients, you don't have to worry about it and you don't have to overwork it too much. It makes delicious, tasty things.
So what are you gonna be making? What do we start with?
We're gonna make a salami. So we have our spices here. So this is a prune-based salami. So, you know, if you have like a gorgeous charcuterie board, well, I'll use quotes since we don't have any meat on there, but you know, you can put all this great California grown produce, and we have a prune salami that we're gonna be making. So I have some.
It looks like meat.
It does, right? That's the whole point, to trick you, right?
So you have these prunes that you've already cooked down?
Yeah, so these prunes have been cooked in marsala wine, some balsamic vinegar, and a little bit of soy sauce. Okay. And so the reason that we're cooking them in those is first, we wanna soften them for the salami. In order to like puree it, you just wanna soften them. You could just do it in water, but why not just use flavors, right? So we're using all these flavors. So we kind of cooked the sauce down just till they kind of got nice and jammy. Then we have all of our spices in there. We're just gonna add this into our food processor. The end result for this product is somewhere between like a salami and a pate, but it works really, really well for you know, a board. So then we're just gonna pulse it so it's nice and smooth.
So these recipes are easy ones, right?
They're super easy. Like, yeah, they're super easy.
You're not gonna challenge me too much.
No challenges at all. So once we get an even consistency on there, we're gonna add in some almonds. So I have some almonds over there if you wanna grab those.
Great.
We'll add those in. We're just gonna pulse it enough to fold them in because they're already kind of pre-chopped.
Okay.
And
what do the almonds do when you add those?
just a nice texture for it, you know? So that's what I like about it. It kind of adds a little bit of crunch to the quote unquote salami. I'll stop using quotes, but but just enough to kind of pulse it in.
Almonds, another great California product.
Exactly. And when it kind of comes together, that's the perfect texture right there. So I'm gonna walk you through how to make this into a salami roll. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, and I'm also gonna show you my trick for parchment paper. So we're gonna take some parchment paper. If you've ever worked with parchment paper, you always know it always rolls back up, right? So a real easy trick for controlling parchment paper is just to crumble it up like you're throwing it away.
Oh man, okay.
And then like uncrumble it.
And then now it's gonna lay flat.
It'll just do exactly what you want it to do, right?
Perfect.
Isn't that great?
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna transfer it to the parchment paper and we're gonna shape our salami log. Now it's gonna be a little rough, it's not gonna quite be that way. Once it's in the fridge for a few hours, you can kind of form it into like what exactly you want. If you wanna grab a spatula right there, we'll take this out.
All right.
There you go. Okay, so
I'm a good assistant.
There you go. You're hired. Okay, so get this out. We're just gonna put the puree on the parchment paper, and then you'll kind of just fold the parchment paper over to form the salami. So it's gonna look a little rough to start with, but it's okay. Once it's in the fridge, it's much easier to work with after it's cooled off
tell me a little bit
bit.
about your inspiration or just how you thought to do this recipe.
Well, I really wanted to showcase like that sort of extreme savoriness of prunes, right? So like prunes are, like I said, they're really versatile. They're great for sweet, they're great for savory. And it's like, I think when, you know, thinking about salami, you definitely don't think about prunes, right?
No.
And so I really wanted to showcase that flavor profile. Like we're using a lot of different spices in this recipe. We have like a bunch of different herbs. We're also using nutritional yeast, which kind of brings that cultured flavor and protein to the recipe too. So it's kind of nice. So you're just gonna take this over and then fold that up and kind of fold it under.
Oh, I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna walk you through it.
Okay.
So you ready?
Take it up.
You said you were a good assistant, so I think you can do it.
So about right there?
Yeah, and then just start shaping it kind of into a log. There you go, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, and just roll it all up.
All the way to the end?
Yeah, all the way to the end.
All right.
And then you're just gonna tie it off like a party favor on the ends.
Like that?
Yep.
I need some ribbons.
And we're gonna put it in the fridge.
Okay.
And then once it's cooled down, you can kind of
So you don't there's no more cooking. So
that's it.
How long do you leave it in the fridge?
I would leave it in the fridge for at least a couple hours.
Okay.
For a couple reasons. One, if you feel it right now, it's really squishy, right? So you can't really do much with it. But secondly, you want those flavors to kind of just meld. So we have a lot of spices over there. We want those flavors profiles just to come together. And so like being in the fridge kind of helps with that too.
Okay, so this is one that's been in the fridge for a while.
This has been in the fridge for a couple hours now. As you can feel, it's pretty cold. And we'll just, usually I will cut it with the paper on because it just kind of keeps everything in shape and makes it a little easier. So you just cut right through it. And you can see it kind of has that sort of kind of pate, sort of meat looking, you know.
Yes.
You want to try one?
Sure.
Feel free. Get this one or
peel it. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Want like a cracker to go with it or anything? Or?
Well, crackerless, pretty good.
Yeah? Easy prune salami.
So you're saying you can also do this like a fig?
But it's just, I think that what makes it great is like you can kind of have it with this board and, and everyone can partake, right? It's like extremely accessible.
Right.
Everyone can enjoy, get some gluten-free crackers,
So
have
you
some.
put some other accompaniments.
Yeah.
Thanks. Now, your Bountiful Landscapes.
As Californians, we know how vital and important saving water is, but I'm gonna have you rethink the way you water your trees and plants outside. So why are we surface level watering? The water doesn't really get down to the roots where it's most needed, whether it's a drip line that's just surface level or the deep watering. So let's find devices where we can actually water directly at the roots. Not only water directly at the roots, fertilize as well. Because guess what? You're gonna end up saving water and your trees and plants are gonna live healthier, longer lives. So we have the root quencher system at my house. The root quencher is an all-in-one. It goes from 9 to 22 inches. So think about those big palm trees behind me. I'm now watering and fertilizing directly at the roots. The drip line in my vegetable garden, I just punch it right into the drip line. It goes down 5 inches. Again, I'm watering and feeding directly at the roots. Such a smart way. So let's rethink. Forget about surface level watering. Go directly underground. Save water, save money, save your trees and plants. Everybody's happy.
Coming up, we stop by a desert retreat where they've got the juice and we're taking a taste.
We need someone to be there, knowing they'll always care. Someone who lights your way each and every day. Doing what you love is everything, so we can celebrate the joy it brings. There's so much to protect in our lives. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Are you looking to uncover more of the bounty of California's rich, diverse, and delicious food and wine scene? Then it's time to get social with us. Find even more great content from farm to fork and everything in between, like recipes, behind the scenes, on food and wine tours, plus useful info on what's good for you and so much more. Join an engaging community of like-minded foodies and tell us what great story ideas you have for us, too. So what are you waiting for? Get in on the conversation now. Find, follow, and talk to us on social at CaBountiful. Welcome back. Wellness starts from within, so why not take advantage of the abundance of fruits and veggies we have in the state to juice clean from the inside out? Hey everyone, so we're at the Good House where they are well known for their fresh juices and tonics, and Chef Van is here and he's gonna show me how it's done.
We're actually gonna be making one of our most popular fresh juices. It's our beet retreat. Everything on the table is actually locally sourced and locally grown. We also like to make our juice menu seasonal. So right now it is root vegetable season, and so we are going to be playing with some beets.
Okay, so talk about what is in this juice.
We have some Meyer lemons. We're also going to be doing some Pink Lady apples for a little bit of sweetness, a locally sourced pineapple, of course some seasonal beets, as well as turmeric, turmeric root, and ginger root. So all this is going to be juiced and brought to some immunity.
And you said immunity. Are there any other benefits we'll get in this juice?
Well, immunity is one of the biggest ones. I would say one of the #1 benefits is because everything's locally sourced, it really introduces you to the local pollen and the local environment. We always have about 15-mile-an-hour winds out here in Desert Hot Springs, so it's really nice to get yourself accustomed to it right away.
Fresh.
And fresh, exactly.
All right, well, show me how it's done.
We're gonna cut up about 3 of these.
Okay, 3 beets. What's the key to making a really good juice?
Staying in season. You know, the fruit is the star of the show. And if it's not its season, it's just not gonna be at its best. So let's move on over to a lemon. We're just gonna cut those into thirds. We're just gonna get our turmeric root, get it nice and sliced up. You really don't have to do much to it.
I feel like with turmeric, some people either love it or they hate it.
It's so true. It goes straight to the face, yep.
But it has some great properties?
But it has some really great qualities, absolutely. I mean, one thing is that turmeric is known to be a really good anti-inflammatory, so is ginger, so they get put together a lot. And it's a really great way to stain your cutting boards as well, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Last but not least, we're just gonna deal with this pineapple right here.
Cutting pineapple can always be a challenge.
It can always be a challenge, and I always think that there's just an easy way to do stuff, you know? So whenever I cut a pineapple, I always cut off the top and bottom first, and I love a bread knife because, you know, we go with our kitchen knives to these fruit, and the fruit usually wins. So I really like something with teeth that's gonna get it nice and shredded up.
All right, that looks juicy.
We're nice and juicy, right? Yeah, probably nice and sweet smelling. And then other than that, so I love to just cut them into quarters. And then you could just take that right out. Take out the core right there as well too. And you have yourself some cut pineapple.
Nice.
So we're just gonna cut these into strips right here. And we're gonna put those into the juicer.
Is there an order?
You know what? I would say that there isn't an order to juicing. I would say that my best advice is always to just kind of mix a little bit of everything in there. So, you know,
and you
don't
leave
have
the
to
pineapple
go.
skin on there.
I do, just because the specific juicer that I have, it takes the skin right off for you.
Gotcha.
So,
I was like, wow.
you know, saves a little time. We haven't seen our color yet because we got to add some beets, of course. A little more of that ginger, turmeric, some nice sweet apples.
So you mean to tell me all that went in there?
Went in there, yeah. Pretty spectacular, yeah. So, you know, we really like to juice our stuff fresh to order. We're gonna make sure that it has nice ice cubes in it. The cool thing is that we actually do all of our garnish in-house. We grow our own mint, we grow our own rosemary, we grow all of our own citrus.
So it's like literally from here on property?
Literally from our farm to the table, yeah. And right now we're actually in a farmscaping process. So our hope is in the next 5 years or so to actually be growing all of our own produce.
Very
So
cool. Ooh,
it's
that's
pretty
so pretty.
groovy, absolutely. So that's some of that mint.
Cheers.
So cheers to life.
That's some good stuff. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of California Bountiful from Half Moon Bay. Thanks for hanging out with us, and don't forget you can find us online at CaliforniaBountiful.com. I'm Aubrey Aquino. Take care, and we'll see you next time for another edition of California Bountiful.